you've got to stop and say, what triggers a transaction? Why would someone be looking for my service? Why would someone need what I do? My dad taught me this strategy, and the strategy was he worked for Sherwin-Williams Company, a paint company, but he was the top salesperson in history of a Fortune 500 company. How does he do it? He beat his sales quota by 600% in 26 straight years. You know what he did? He never picked the phone up. All he did is become the authority. You want to have at least 30 to 50% of your revenue coming in from referrals. It's going to lower your cost of customer acquisition. Also, what's the SOP for around how to send it, where you can actually receive it correctly? Is it three-way email? Maybe it's three-way email. Maybe it's three-way text. Maybe it's not just give me the person's phone number and I'll dial them. It's not just give them my phone number and have them dial me. It's not passive and hand them my calendar link. That's bullshit. I hate that. Don't do that. You can get tons more referrals by teaching people what to look at. Hey, when you see someone who's like really flailing and having issues in their business, before they fail and go bankrupt, send them to me first. Good. All right, so building a referral-based business is what we're going to talk about now. And I don't hear many of you talk about referrals, very rarely. It's so sexy to do ads and get clients in from there, where actually to me referrals are really the holy grail. Maybe it's my real estate sales background, maybe it's something else, but we love referrals. And we're going to talk about that. Like, how do you create a high value, steady stream, high quality, high value referrals that keep coming in, that close really, really well. So for those of you who don't know me, we talked about me earlier. I'm a real estate investor, business acquisitions investor. I specialize in a concept called consulting for equity. Got a big portfolio of companies. I've done some cool stuff. I've won some awards, but let's go through. So here's the question. What if you could get consistently wonderful, high quality leads that close at least 50% or higher every single time? What if you could generate leads that already know, like, and trust you before they even get on the phone? Or leads that don't ghost you after opting in and say, no, I didn't, when you said, hey, you reached out to me and requested this. Like, what if we could focus on that for a little while? Let's do it. You can. It's all real. This is real. This is real. So one thing you have here in front of you, most of you, is a notebook. You have a notes section around this. We're going to be using that at the end, and we're going to do a little exercise. So you might want to go ahead and get that out and take a little bit of notes. Leave yourself at least 68% of that little page, so you can do 68% exactly. So you can do the exercise we're going to do, right? And why referrals? Referrals are just better. They're stronger, right? They seem to convert at a much higher rate than paid traffic and all the other sources that we go after. Does that mean the other ones are bad? No, we'll talk about that. But it really comes down to the know, like, and trust transfer. And when you start in any business, all of your business is going to come from paid leads. It's going to come from paid ads. It's going to be coming from your energy and effort. But after several years in the business, they should eventually make up 30 to 50% of your revenue, right? So Travis had a screenshot of his pipeline revenue by source earlier, and you had how many? Like probably 18 or 19 I counted, right? It's very redundant, beautiful to see that. I teach something called 7 Ways to Win. Most of you have already seen that, but you want to have at least 30 to 50% of your revenue coming in from referrals. It's going to lower your cost of customer acquisition, and it's also going to have higher close rates. It's going to keep your salespeople really excited because they're going to get a lot more laydowns, which helps build their morale. It's going to be really wonderful for your business, right? So we'll go into that. 7 Ways to Win is a business consultation framework that I take people through. They pay me a lot of money to do this, some large companies. I've done this individually with some of your companies, and it's all about building that very redundant customer acquisition strategy. And if you look at half of it, half of my 7 Ways to Win is always focused around building referrals. And they have higher conversion rates, they're higher quality, and it's all about being able to focus on what you can control in your life, which is your attitude and your effort. There's only 2 things you can control, right? Compared to scalable lead sources where you can throw fuel in the fire, you can spend as much as you want, you can push the gas down as fast as you want to go. Those are really cool too, but often, really often, they're very low quality and they close at a very low conversion rate, right? But they're both good, so it should be a blend of the two, but we're going to focus on the right-hand side today. And I think what's special about referrals is they're sacred. It's really something that you take highly personal. Like if you say to me, hey, I need you to connect me with a personal trainer, and there can be 2 ways that can go, right? I can say, hey, I know a guy, never used him, he's kind of a dick, but he's got big muscles, and I think he's been doing it for a while. Maybe you should check him out. You should probably do your own due diligence, though. I think he takes steroids. That's a referral. It's not a great referral, it's a referral. Or you can say, hey, I know this lady, She's amazing. She's very personable. She took my wife after we had our 2 babies, brought her back to her high school body. She had so much more confidence. It seems like she made it effortless. My wife doesn't want to exercise, and I would trust this person with my life. That's a referral, right? So I think understanding what referrals are, for one, but number two, how getting a really good referral comes from someone who's putting their reputation on the line and transferring a know, like, and trust. And people are really cautious to do that unless you do some work up front that makes them feel like you're worthy to get a referral. So that's what we're going to go over today. And then also poor performance with a referral, like after they refer, it can really damage the referrer's reputation. Have you ever given a referral to somebody and then, we were just talking about this a couple days ago, or yesterday on the river, Patrick, like we've given out referrals to people and then they come back, it's like, wow, that guy dropped the ball, it was terrible. It makes you feel like an idiot. And that's why people are kind of cautious to refer, right? So I'm going to teach you how to get around that and have people wanting to refer you business, being your advocate, okay? So that's where we're going to go today. To me, it's all about predicting success. If you've heard me speak, I talk about this concept all the time. People just want to feel confident that you can do what you say you're going to do. They want to know that when they invest with you, or if they refer someone to invest with you, that you can give them a return on their investment, right? Marketing without being able to predict success is gambling. It's not investing their spend. So this is really where it is. And the high quality referrals come from a strong relationship where the referrer can say, this person's going to crush it for you. That's where it comes into play. So we'll get into that. Know, like, and trust. Everybody know what this is? Pretty simple concept. Most of you probably don't actually know what it is. You may know the concept of it, but when you break it down to a scientific level and you start to understand what know means, what like means, what trust means, it gets much deeper than just the words, know, like, and trust. Know is achieved through familiarity and frequency of exposure, right? Being familiar, being famous comes from the root word, that same place as familiar, somebody that you're familiar with because they're popular, right? To get familiar with somebody, Spencer, you and I have to have a lot of exposure to each other, frequency of exposure, quantity of exposure. You have to feel like you know me, right? So if you want someone to know, like, and trust you and transfer that, you can only do that with somebody you really have a relationship with at the end of the day, okay? So this is huge. Like is where people like you, what you stand for, your integrity, or they feel like you have a lot in common, or you feel like you have their best interests in heart, right? Once again, when you walk up to somebody and it's like, hey, my name's Spencer, I'd like you to refer me all your clients. Like, they're never going to do that. You got to build that know, like, and trust, which comes from frequency exposure, comes from creating unbelievable amounts of rapport, from being their friend. And a lot of that comes down to being reciprocal as well and looking to help them and add value, okay? And then trust is really two things. It's either the expertise and trust that you can do what you claim that you can do, as well as that you have integrity, right? So think about it like a lawyer, a good attorney. He could be somebody you don't trust him as far as you can throw him, right? But you do trust that he will do a great job because he's a great attorney, right? There's a lot that goes into it. Think about your kid's sister who's getting into mortgages, and you have a chance to refer someone to a mortgage officer. You like her and know her, but you don't quite trust her enough to give the referral because she's so new. You can't trust her ability to execute. Yes, sir. So you guys ready to jump into this?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. All right, so before I go into it too deep, I'm not going to teach you how to build a customer referral system. Those are great. They exist. We're not going to go and teach you little scripts to give out to your customers and the handwritten note cards. We're not going to do all that today. We can do that another day. We used to make a lot of money doing that in the real estate sales world. But I really want to focus on building more B2B referrals and who to get in front of, how to get in front of them, how to teach them to refer, all that stuff, okay? So let's go into that. Today we're going to cover a couple things, nothing too deep. Like I said, I can make this fast. Number one, where to seek referrals and those who are most likely to influence referrals. Number two, we're going to talk about how to teach people how and when to refer. We're going to go over why not all referrals are equal, and then I'm going to show you an exercise where we can find out kind of what we need to do each day, each month, and each week to be able to get a steady stream of referral. And really it comes down to this, and this is what we're going to do together in our notepad. We're going to make a list, and we're going to go through an exercise where we say what triggers a transaction and who's most likely to refer. It's crazy. I did a consultation on Monday. I was trying to get ready for this event. I didn't have time for it. I was on the river on Saturday with a friend of mine, Big Steve. He used to sell for me. He owns a debt consolidation and relief company. It's like a faith-based company where they help people even trying to kill themselves because they're in so much debt, renegotiate their debt, and like they're truly saving lives. So I took some time out, spent 3 hours with him Monday morning. And we did this, and we gave them a 1-year game plan on everything they could be doing. Their only customer acquisition source was Facebook ads. And they were really struggling because they have a call center, and it's just tough. And a lot of times when the people are hot and they really need help, they're also really distressed and freaked out, and they can't even go through the process. So it was amazing. I taught him this entire system, and even really intelligent people never stop sometimes unless they're prompted to stop and say, okay, why is someone entering the transaction? You all are better at this because of SEO and what triggers high intent searches, right? And then who's most likely to refer. But I think it's a very powerful thing. So if we start with like who's most likely to refer, there's a lot of people out there that could refer you business, and that's where I want to start. So industry-related suppliers and vendors, industry-related associations, masterminds where all of your perfect clients are getting together to follow a guru. You've got your existing clients, yes, and friends and family, your sphere of influence. You've got white label partners. You have other agencies that only niche in as well, and they're getting leads for your industry. There's people you've networked with. Like, there's all these people out there that are most likely to refer you business. So when you're going out and doing these activities and making this plan, you have to have that information in mind. And we'll go over the other side in just a little bit. But my favorite place to go are these 3 things right here. Like, who already has influence over my customer? It's massive. Who does my customer go to for advice? Who do they look up to? Who are they binge watching on YouTube? Who already has influence over my customer? It's so easy to become best friends with that person and be able to watch the referrals fly in. It's massive, right? Who else does my ideal customer spend money with? That's a big one as well, right? So like in spray foam, who else are they spending money with? They're spending money with the suppliers that supply the actual spray foam. They're spending money with the people who make the machines. They're spending money on maybe a specialty type of insurance. They're spending money on lots of different things. And there's a lot of really industry niche-related associations they may be a part of. There may be gurus in the space they follow. Like, there's large areas of your perfect customers congregating somewhere, or there are certain key people who have influence like crazy over your customers. And it's all about getting in front of those people specifically for me. I think it's very powerful. Also, we talked about this a second ago. Masterminds are huge. I love masterminds because this is an area where people come together with the mindset of collaboration. They're looking for growth. They're looking for help. If you can get in front of a mastermind that's full of nothing but your ideal people, right? So Travis, we were looking at your screen earlier, and one of the groups that you pulled up was literally a mastermind full of 7-figure moving companies. Whether it was really a mastermind or just a group, like it was like moving company. Maybe you bought that, but that's the idea behind it. Like, where are people going to learn how to do what they do better? And it's different because there's a mindset of collaboration there. They're actually looking to grow. They're looking to invest in marketing. They're looking to make money. Like, get in front of these people like that changes everything. And that's only the first part of it, obviously, but it's really, really, really helpful, okay? So let's keep going. So what triggers a transaction? To me, this is one of the most important things. I need to understand, like, kind of where people are, and I need to understand how to get in front of them at the right time in the right place. And this will also be crucial when you're teaching people how to refer, right? So I was talking to Lorian yesterday. Do you mind if I use an example? Yeah, we're talking about your agency on the river. I talked to like 10 of you about your agencies on the river, right? And I said, what's your vision? What are you focusing on now? Because I knew you were shifting your thoughts, and you couldn't clearly articulate that, right? You've got to stop and say, what triggers a transaction? Why would someone be looking for my service? Why would someone need what I do? Right? Think about that. What is that moment that triggers a transaction? And we'll go through that in a second. But that's just huge because when you're teaching people to refer you, you have to teach them the scenarios when it's appropriate to refer. If you're waiting in life for someone to come to your referral source and say, hey, can you refer me to someone who grows spray foam agencies or companies, right? It's not going to happen. There's so many different ways to influence referrals without that moment happening. You can teach people if you know how this works, okay? So let's keep going. I think it's helpful to make sure you exactly nail down who your ideal customer is and your ideal win scenario. If anybody's been in my training, you know it's a big thing for me, the ideal win scenario, because you have to be able to clearly articulate that, and that's going to help you a lot. So what triggers a transaction? For your type of clients, maybe they need more business, maybe their current agency sucks, maybe the lead quality they're getting is getting worse over time, maybe the tactics that they've been doing or their company they've been working with is no longer working, maybe they're trending down in sales, maybe a new competitor came in, maybe Home Advisor or Neighborly bought a whole bunch of companies in their area and they're putting them out of business and taking their market share. Maybe they used to rank really well, but now it's slipping. Maybe they want to ramp up. Maybe they want to extend and buy more equipment. Maybe they want to have another crew. Maybe their calendars are full and they're looking to bring on another crew and they need to have more leads coming in. Like, think about all the reasons why someone would want to work with you, right? Think about that first, because this is how you're going to teach people to refer you business. You know, I typically work with customers who are in this stage of their business, who are looking for this, who have these things happen to them. Here's the ideal win scenario, which is the size of the business, the mindset of the business owner, all that type of stuff. It's very, very important. So think about what triggers a transaction. Most of you who've been on some of my calls have seen a little bit of that before, but it's very powerful to think about that, right? And I think finding potential partners is just the first step. And really, at the next step is actually building that foundational relationship, and this is absolutely key. When you go into these relationships, it's got to be focused on giving value to them. For me, I'm always trying to get in and teach people. I want to be the smartest guy in the room to that group, where they only think about me when they need to do something. Like, I need this person's help. This is the only person I'll ever go to, right? My dad taught me this strategy. And the strategy was, he worked for Sherwin-Williams Company, the paint company. He's deceased now. He died in 2015. But he was the top salesperson in history of a Fortune 500 company. Fortune 100, I believe, in history. How does he do it? He beat his sales quota by 600%, 26 straight years. You know what he did? He never picked the phone up. All he did is become the authority. He went in and joined, when he got switched from maritime to the Caribbean to home builder sales for the U.S., he went one by one, joined the association, became the president, became the main speaker, became the CE instructor, and he was the authority, right? And that was a very powerful thing he did, and he got in front of everyone in his perfect customer base. Like, he was actually the president of the United States HBA. And I think 2004, 2005. When he died, I got all of his awards. My stepmom didn't want him. My brother and my sisters didn't want him. I got all of his awards. I don't know what to do with them. They're in a closet. But I was cool, and I was looking at it. Like, he's president of all these associations. And this is where I started to think about this concept. It's like Dad was the authority. People came to him because he was the person who had all the answers. He never had to fight for anything, ever. He didn't have to go out and canvas. He didn't have to prospect. Business came to him. The other thing is, my dad died, and there was an entire church that filled up with him one day. And it blew my mind. I've never seen a funeral like that. I'm talking like, I think 1,600 people. In a moment's notice, because he had that many friends. None of his customers were customers. He built deep relationships with all of them. And everything he did was based off referral. He was, people, they still don't understand it. No one's been able to replicate it. But it's pretty powerful, right? It's a very magnetic thing. So that's why I think this is back so powerful. Like, here's me and my buddy Carl. We built quite the empire together. This is when I won a really big industry award at a mastermind. I got sharpest marketer in the room at a $10 million and up mastermind. And I got that in 2019. And he's like, yo, the dog's bollocks. He's British. He was like yelling at me, so excited. The dog's bollocks, that's what they said, yeah. But it was so cool because I helped him a lot. I became really good friends with him. And then years down the road, I took an exit. I called him. I said, hey, I'm a 10X somebody's company in the next 2 years. You're the only guy I want to work with. And then I went and 10X'd it. But it was because we already had that relationship. And he referred me people like crazy. I referred him people like crazy. And that's where I think being a part of a mastermind, not just when we're working on our business here together as peers, but also get in front of the mastermind that has all of your perfect clients. It's powerful. And there are masterminds, by the way. If you're into hardscaping and landscaping, there's several masterminds just for business owners who own hardscaping and landscaping companies where they all grow their business together. There's tons of them. You can think about pretty much any niche, and there's something out there. Or you can start one. Or association, yeah. Same thing. Like, I was talking to somebody yesterday in here, a couple of us. Like, I used to go speak myself. I wasn't even invited as a speaker. I just got a booth at the American Society of Plastic Surgeons. And I used that to just get in front of all of my perfect customers. And believe it or not, even people who weren't ready to work with me, they were sending me people to my booth and referring me people right after us having a conversation. It's really powerful, though. Okay, so let's keep going. We are going to talk about the gaining authority and the 6 Ps to gain authority, and this is going to be a big part of it, and it's going to allow you to get way more referrals than you can get without of it, but we're going to get through that in just a minute. Demonstration builds reputation. To me, this is what I was talking about with my dad. I think becoming the authority is one of the biggest things. Besides just scratching people's backs and being their friends and taking them fishing and golfing and out to lunch, and that's cool and stuff, but the people who really want to refer you business have seen you in action at some level. They've seen that you can do what you say you're going to do, right? I think it's huge. If you go back to the 6 Ps, you learn how to get position down, proven, pedigree, publish, pitch, and proximity. You can take a picture of that. We'll get to it tomorrow or the next day. But this is huge as well where you already have all the implied authority you need to get a positive referral. So we'll go over that. But really, learn how to solve people's problems is really, really huge. This is where people are going to refer you business. Because you have to be a safe pair of hands for the referral, right? They need to feel like you are going to take good care of this sacred thing that they're putting their name on. It's kind of scattered today, because this isn't my favorite topic to teach on, but I think you guys need to learn it. Okay, we're going to go into this in just a second. But the idea of referrals, at the end of the day, you got to build know, like, and trust with people who already have influence over your perfect customer. You walk away with nothing else. That's it. Who's most likely to refer? Who's already my customer spending money with? Who does my customer go to when they, have issues or need answers or need questions? It's going to be you later, hopefully, after you go through the gaining authority. But this is huge. Like, who do they already go to? Who's their confidant? Who's their advisor? Who's their consultant? Right? We were talking about cool sculpting earlier, right? APCs, Allergan Practice Consultants. They are the authority when it comes to this person's been put on a pedestal by the largest company in medical aesthetics. This person's a brilliant business development. Anything they tell you, you do. They're going to give you better referrals than anybody else from my med spa folks, right? Always. Higher intent, higher close rate, know, like, and trust is already transferred. They've already bragged on you. You don't have to brag on yourself. And you're already, You've got the pedigree. You're a certified cool sculpting partner. You see where I'm going with this? But it's all about who already has influence over our customers. So when we do our exercise in a minute, I want you to think about that. Think about that as we're talking. Who has influence over my customers? You're in an environment where one of your partners has influence over your customers, and are those not your best leads? Consistently. Your closing rate's probably 80% every time that phone rings when it comes from that mastermind, right? It's powerful. He sees it in action. It's massive, okay? So let's keep going. How to teach people when and how to refer. Of course, I believe you have to ask for referrals. You don't ask too soon. I think you need to build know, like, and trust. People want to see you succeed, and they're your advocate when you have a relationship with them, and it gets so much easier. It doesn't feel slimy, but when you walk right up to somebody originally right out of the gate and say, you know what, here's who I am, here's what I do, I want you to send me everybody who needs help, I got you, right? That doesn't really work very well. So build a relationship, build a rapport, but learn how to ask for referrals. We'll go over that in just a second. You also have to teach people when it's appropriate to refer. This is a big part of this, a huge part of this. You ever gotten a referral, and then obviously the person that they referred you was not aware, and they weren't even in the buy cycle? Does that happen? So that's why what triggers a transaction is so key. You have to be able to teach people, right? So when you meet somebody who has been working with someone for a long time, they love their marketing agency, but yet it's just losing its impact. It's not working as well. Things that work for a long time are no longer working. They're noticing that the slow season didn't never pick back up again, and they can see that they're running out of runway. That's who I work with. I work with companies in this scenario. Here's my ideal win scenario for clients. Businesses over $2 million. They have sales teams already in place. The owner's not running everything as one person, and they have multiple crews. If they're in that scenario, I'm going to literally crush it. If you find somebody who's on a downward trajectory, please send them to me. Like, you got to teach people when to refer. Okay? Don't just ask for referrals, because you're going to get shit referrals. Teach them when to refer. Okay? You also need to teach people how to send people your way, right? So this is huge. If you're not going to be the one receiving referrals, you can build an intake process. I like three-way texts. Those are my favorite. I don't like for somebody else also to do my pitch for me. I tell people, by the way, I love everybody you send me. Do me a favor. Try not to set too many expectations. When you find somebody in these scenarios and you want someone to really take care of them, people you care about, and you're trusting me enough to give it to me, let me do the talking, but just do a three-way text, introduce me, I'll take it from there. Like, that's the way I prefer to do it. It's so much better that way. And they feel like they're talking straight to you. And at that point, if you wanted to hand it off to a sales guy, or you wanted to hand it off to somebody else to schedule an appointment, you can do that. You just say, hey, no problem. Hey, this is, and you can say, hey, I'll message you privately. You jump over, add your assistant into it, add your sales guy into it, do the know, like, and trust for transfer to that person, and then you can move on from there. I mean, it's very powerful stuff, but you need to know when is it appropriate, what triggers a transaction is a big part of that process. Also, what's the SOP for around how to send it, where you can actually receive it correctly. Is it three-way email? Maybe it's three-way email. Maybe it's three-way text. Maybe it's not just give me the person's phone number and I'll dial them. It's not just give them my phone number and have them dial me. It's not passive and hand them my calendar link. That's bullshit. I hate that. Don't do that. Make it more personal if you can. Okay? Once it's through the personal stage, that's fine. But you got to be in control of this process. I think that's a huge part of it. This is just explaining kind of what we were talking about a second ago. Not all referrals are created equal, obviously. I have referrals all the time where, I know this person who works with companies like yours. I've never done business with them myself. I don't know how good they are, but I can give you their number, and you should do your own due diligence and research, right? Have you ever given a referral like that? I do all the time.
Really?
Absolutely. Someone's like, hey, do you know anybody who does this? I was like, I do. I don't have any faith in them. I don't know them, but I can connect you. You need to do your own due diligence. It's not negative. It's just not a great referral. So do you want to receive those referrals? You don't. So if you want to get around that, the goal is to what? Demonstration builds reputation. Give freely without any strings attached. Build relationships. Build know, like, and trust. Build rapport. Make sure they understand that you know what you're doing. Display wins and case studies. There's a lot of stuff we'll talk about in 2 days for the gaining authority, but it's all about them feeling like you're a safe pair of hands to take care of their friend. They need them to feel like they're your advocate, or they want to see you succeed. And then know, like, and trust. Frequency of exposure, familiarity. Like is integrity. You have common interests. They like you. They want to see you succeed. You've built rapport. Trust is, yes, they're experts. They can do what they say they're going to do. And I trust that they are going to be a safe pair of hands for this sacred thing that I'm asking for them to give me. Right? You ever thought about referrals that way? Maybe some of you have. You've been around for a little while. It's just good to get a little refresher. This isn't supposed to be new. This is just a refresher. But it's pretty interesting how these leads close at 50 to 100% pretty consistently. When a lot of times we're just dialing through all these people who don't know, like, and trust us, and we have to try to prove ourselves. Or if you have any ounce of non-confidence in your voice, they walk all over you. Like, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. So I gave this referral out 2 weeks ago. Someone's like, hey man, I got this business. It's in the e-com space. I'm looking to grow it. Do you know anybody who can crush it and does this and this? It's like, I know a guy who's very gray hat, very effective. Don't trust him. I don't know what it is. I don't have anything specific that I don't trust him about. I don't trust him. But I know he's very effective. And I'm sure he could do a good job. But once I open that door, he is going to hound you for months now about business, because I've seen this before. So if you're desperate and you need some help done, he'll do it. And he may be great. I wouldn't put my name on it. I give referrals out like that, sure. If I
Did they call him?
I don't know. I didn't have enough skin in the game to care at that moment, but yeah, I know, or they call me back like, yeah, I dodged a bullet on that one, right? But you don't want to be that person that receives those kind of referrals. Think about how you can affect it and do different. This is huge for me. Think about the mindshare battle. If you're ever study, there's a book called Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. Even if you're not a real estate agent, it's a very, very powerful book. Gary Keller talks about the mindshare battle, and he talks about how essentially inside of our brains we have cache memory, just like on a computer, where we have a short-term memory bank where we don't store too much knowledge in there when it's not useful. Like, think about any profession. You only have 1 to 2, maybe 3 people that come top of mind quickly when you think of that type of industry, right? So part of what you have to do when you build these relationships is you also need to maintain them. I think it's really powerful. You need to stay in front of them, because otherwise you could have built the relationship, really showed a lot of expertise, taught them how to refer, and then you stayed away for a year or two. When they have that moment finally come up for a referral, they're going to give it to somebody else because you're not top of mind. Or like, I didn't even know you're still in the business. I haven't heard from you, right? So think about that. Always make sure you do that. If you're going to fight to win the mindshare battle and have name association with your name and the problem you solve and the type of clients you work with, keep it. If you're going to build it, keep it. And it's so easy. You can automate it with CRMs and outreach systems, and you can have your assistant log in and just message everybody the same thing. Just, hey, thinking about you, hope you're crushing life. Just want you to know I got your back. If you ever find yourself in a pickle or need a friend, call me. That's a badass message that your assistant can send for you to about 500 people every quarter. And I'll tell you, that will stay in front of them and has nothing to do with work, and they will remember that. And if you see someone respond back to it and you handle that incoming message, you can see what they responded to. But that's a great way to follow up with people. That's not business-wise, right? Okay. I love the idea of being worthy of their referral rather than expect it. Be worthy of it. No one owes you anything, really. You need to focus on earning people's trust, becoming a safe pair of hands, and I think this will really help you quite a bit. Just to remind you before we wrap up and go to the exercise, you want to get to the point where at least 30 to 50% of your business is coming from referral. And you're going to find your business is full of better clients. You'll also find that a lot of your better clients were referred to you by either great clients or great industry connections, rather than the ones that you're trolling and finding through other things, which those are good too. You need fillers as you're building your business, but this is what you're going after. right? What if every one of your clients came from Brandon, every single one of them? The PETA factor, the pain in the ass factor, would probably be down quite a bit, right? It would. So let's keep going. Just to reiterate, it's all about predicting success. I love Babe Ruth only swung at pitches he knew he was going to home run, right? It's huge. I love that. He's always pointing to the fence. When he knew his ideal win scenario, he knew the exact speed, he knew the placement of the pitch, he knew it, right? And when you're able to do this, you won't believe how much more faith people have in you, right? And that's why productizing, that's why niching down, that's why understanding from your past experiences, the clients that are too small, the clients with the wrong mindset, the clients with the wrong baggage or history, or the clients with the wrong expectations, you can't work with them. You have to say, this is the box where I frickin' crush it. This is the strike zone. And you can teach people that. Then you can say, not only is this the strike zone, this is usually what you can see from the outside looking in that's telling you that they need to work with me. Here's what's happening in their life. Here's the behavior. This is what triggers a transaction. Here's my ideal win scenario. If someone doesn't fit into this, happy to have a conversation, see if I can refer them to somebody else. Happy to see if I can help. Right? But you got to understand that. I think it's very powerful. So let's go through it and let's do this together. Think about your business, specifically your niche, and just write up two different things. You know, what triggers a transaction, who's most likely to refer, and then we're going to go through and talk about that just a little bit. So go to your notes, take a few minutes. What triggers a transaction, who's most likely to refer? Whatever you sell. If you have multiple agencies, like some of us in the back, pick one of them and go with that, right? What triggers a transaction, who's most likely to refer? Be specific. If it's 5 different associations that all your clients go to, write them all down. If you don't know, put a question mark next to it and go research it.
The triggers of transaction, I mean, obviously they're all up there.
Yeah, you can copy mine, but let's think about your clients, though. Let's think about your clients.
Well, I mean, tree service clients, so, I mean, they need more leads.
You can even think about, is there issues with employees? Is it issues with every single call they're getting is too small of a job? They want to convert to bigger jobs? Like, think about all the different things. Think about, for you, what would make you go seek out help? What could it be? Could be that the fact that you had a hard time paying payroll last week and you've got a lot of guys that you've been mentoring and you would be distraught if you had to start letting people go because your phone's not ringing. I think about the emotional side of it as well. It's not just stuff like there. That's really what sells at the end of the day. What else? What happens when their supervisor leaves and quits and they have to jump back into the field and now they need somebody to provide them higher quality leads because they can't be the salesperson anymore and dig through all the trash before they can find someone who's actually good.
Usually more people follow them and go to another company with them.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. But think about, like, why would someone all of a sudden need help? Why would, and this isn't, it could be what people are Googling that are more long tail keyword searches. It could be lots of different ways to think about it. But if you were describing to me, I said, Gary, I love you. I'm happy to refer you business. Help me understand who's a good fit to work with you. How do I know that I should offer them your phone number rather than just when they ask me? How would I know someone needs your help?
Based on experience, based on your proven track record.
No. I'm asking you. I'm trying to refer you business.
Okay.
And I'm saying, I know lots of tree service guys. I know you probably specialize in something. I'm not going to send everybody your way, but what should I be looking for? And if I spot this, it's a good sign that I need to send them to you.
That's a good question.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff you got to think about, right? You know what else this does? This is your sales conversations and your sales pitches. You're identifying your ideal client win scenario. You're telling, and you're saying, listen, most people that come to me, it's because of one of 3 reasons. Boom, boom, and boom. I punch them right in the eye with that. Right in the forehead, they're like, wow, he's speaking right to me. These are the people I help. There's some unique scenarios that people find themselves in. When they find themselves there, I'm the guy they come to at that moment. They've already tried this. They've already tried that. They've been beating their head up against the wall. They hired the wrong company a few times. They found themselves, yeah, they got tons of leads, but they're all shit. None of them are converting. They don't know why. It's frustrating. They can't keep a sales guy because no one's answering the phone. Like, is that what you're dealing with? Yeah, man, it's like you're reading my mind right now, right? Huh? That's it, Miss Cleo. Just, you remember that. It's all about, that's it. So that's it. Does anybody have any more issues there? Who's most likely to refer? Everybody got that? You can do Google searches. You can go to Facebook groups and search. There's lots of places to go. I got to tell you, my strategy, I don't go just to groups. I go to like real things. I go to events. I go to masterminds. I put my money where my mouth is and join. I pay to get in the room. And then I find out what problems people are having, and I demonstrate by showing what I can do. And I build my own reputation. I want people to look at me and like, that's the person that I've been looking for. That's how you get a lot of referrals and get a lot of business and be magnetic. But you can also go and make friends with the people who are overall membership or over business development, or the person who plans all the events, or the person who is the person lining up the speakers. Like, you can go and get referrals from those people. If you're in plumbing, you could go become friends with the cashiers at the plumbing supply company counter. And like, who has influence over your customer? Where else are they spending money? That's huge, right? So I teach business development and sales. There's a lot of times where it's hard to get to your end customer. Like, how do you get past the gatekeeper? You don't have to. Go find his best friend. Go find the person who already got past the gatekeeper and either poach them or create some sort of symbiotic relationship where they can refer business back and forth to each other. That's how we grew. We had one contact, gave us 50 clients, rather than going get one contact that gets us one client, right? That's why referrals are so powerful, especially business-to-business referrals, yeah. Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes.
So in that scenario where you had one client
Sure.
and you had a breakthrough that that person had 50, what was it that you did? Like, how do you show someone what you can do?
I help them get what they want.
So you just ask them.
I help them get what they want, yeah. Let's say Spencer here in the front. I like Spencer, so I use him as an example. Let's say he goes to 3 major companies in the country that manufacture and create and sell spray foam equipment. He says, hey, I bet you spray foam equipment sales is kind of up and down. And the reasons why is a lot of guys don't have enough business to justify expanding into another crew. He said, what if I worked with you on a level where every time you had a new prospect and when they decide not to buy, it's because they're afraid they're not going to be able to keep their guys busy, or they don't have enough business, or they don't have the operating capital. Bring them to me, let me help grow the business so I can get you people that can buy easier. Like, how can you create relationships that are symbiotic? Right? So if you listened to me yesterday, we had an account with, I think, Qterra. Qterra, and that's where we scaled a lot of it, is every time they sold a laser, they gave us a marketing budget with them, and we brought them leads on day one. We helped them get what they want. That was how we did it. We did some with some other laser companies too, but when they really needed help, we were their savior.
To that same point, if they don't know you from Adam,
You build a relationship, become their friend, build rapport, create know, like, and trust through frequency of exposure, and be their friend, and have them want to be your advocate, add value with no strings attached. Don't just go in asking for things. Also, demonstration builds reputation. Show them what you can do. Like,
by any means.
it's huge, yeah. If you sit down with me in a laptop for 10 minutes, you're going to want to send me business. I just got to figure out a way to get in front of you, be friends, and I like to create a magnetic moment where someone says, hey, can I pick your brain? Do you think you can help my friend? Like, that's what I'm looking for when I teach consulting for equity. That's the moment. That's the switch. That's where you get all the leverage. And that's where people know that you're the guy who's going to be able to solve their friend's problem, their problem. That's the power. And that's why we're going to go over the gaining authority in a couple days. And then how to talk differently and structure our offers in a way where we're not competing with anybody. And that's why we're going to talk about decommoditizing our offer and standing out. Yes, sir.
Do you ever run into a situation that I've had a couple times, and both times, I mean, it worked out okay, but, had a med spa client, she's killing it. She refers her husband as a personal injury attorney that I don't like attorneys, I don't do attorneys. But I felt an obligation to take him on because of referral from her.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it worked out fine.
Yeah, but
How do you kind of...
I just wouldn't take the client. I already told him this is my strike zone.
Okay.
And I said to him already, by the way, if you find somebody who doesn't fit like my ideal client, I'm happy to have a conversation and see if I can help them at some level and point them in the right direction. Yeah. Yeah, because we're defined by what we say no to in life, not what we say yes to. Right? We're defined by the swings that we swing at, the pitches we swing at, So I think when we get to the point where we feel obligated, it's just you didn't set right expectations. Yeah. So what I want you to do with this list is I want you to think about it, and I want you to make a hot list of people that you're going to go get in front of, right? When you look at daily, weekly, and monthly activities, we have recordings inside the Rank Muster Vault around the 7 Ways to Win strategy and my consultation framework. So you can go watch that rather than put you through it now. But I want you to think about what places are you going to go? Who are you going to get in front of? What associations are you going to join? Think about becoming the authority. Think about being able to teach marketing or teach continuing education to that group of people. I'm telling you, my dad's strategy was brilliant and it worked like a charm. When they needed something, they went to him. Not only did he go get in front of the people with influence, he became the person with influence. And then it's so magnetic. You never have to pick the phone up again. and your close rate's consistently high, you're only attracting better clients. And guess what? A lot of times the higher clients, the higher end clients, the ones you really want, aren't the ones that are clicking on Facebook ads.
Yeah.
So this is how you get to those other people. And not saying you shouldn't do the rest of it. I made a living on Facebook ads. Like that was how I made my living for a long time. But this is better. It's just better at the end of the day. So if you're just ignoring this, then it's tough. Yeah. But
I use that strategy to become one of the top mortgage brokers in the country.
yeah.
I would just teach realtors how to market, how to run their CRMs, and how to use AI.
Huge.
So I was going after clients, but when you go after clients, they're not ready to buy. The ready to buy clients, the realtors have them because they're actively looking at houses.
Yep.
So instead of going after buyers, I went after realtors who I thought was a better marketing. Really, like, as soon as they know, like, and trust you, you're the person that they're calling for their deals.
Alternatively, you could have gone and done a big pitch about why you're the best mortgage broker and you're just a commodity, but you're better than everybody else. And it wouldn't have gotten the same result. But instead, you helped them enhance their business and the reciprocal nature. They wanted to send you business. It was somebody that they were an advocate for. Yeah, it's powerful, isn't it? But really, the biggest thing walk away with, forget everything, but referrals are better because they close at a higher rate. They already know, like, and trust you. You don't have to prove it to them. They're usually higher quality. A lot of the higher end people only work by referral because it speeds up the process of trial and error and getting to the right person. If you can stop and say, what triggers a transaction? How do I teach people what scenarios of when they should refer people to us besides just the one moment when someone says, hey, can you refer me to somebody? Because that's not what a referral is all about. If you wait for that moment, that's fine, but you can get tons more referrals by teaching people what to look at. Hey, when you see someone who's like really flailing and having issues in their business, before they fail and go bankrupt, send them to me first. You see larger companies that you hear them talking about all the things that used to work don't work anymore, and their marketing company's not innovating, send them to me. You know, that's what you got to do is understand what triggers a transaction. What are they thinking? What emotions do they have? And then lastly, make that hot list and just go after and get in front of those people and become their friends. And it's a huge strategy. It works really, really well. I've done things where we've taken somebody who has all of our ideal clients and we literally made them a shareholder in one of our companies. And we just unlocked the whole gate. The floodgates just open, full of referrals. Yeah. That works too. Won't always work, but it could work. Yeah, you could do some JVs. You could do like a share swap. You guys know what share swaps are? So it's not like a merger, but we've done share swaps 3 times this year where we've literally said, hey, we'll give you 10% of our company. You give us 10% of your companies. Let's go in there and cross-sell the shit out of it. And now we're both vested in each other's companies. We do it all the time.
Right.
Chris, do you ever do like BNI? Anything like that?
BNI is cool as well. I'm not selling to local service companies, but BNI would be a wonderful place to start. Business Networking International. It's a great place to hone in your skills as well and be in an environment where everyone's truly trying to refer each other business and get much better at standing up in 30 seconds, give your pitch. It's powerful, yeah. So if you haven't done BNI, it's massive. So when you go back to like 7 ways to win, BNI should easily be one of them. When we were doing local service on the marketing side, we did not join BNI. We guest spoke at BNIs. We just guessed to see if we liked it, and we would do a new one each week.
That's why I did that with
Yeah.
5 different ones.
Correct. So we did about 5 or 6 different ones, and we did it with different people, so it didn't overlap as much. And we were able to get in front of a much bigger referral base.
Right now,
Yep.
a lot of them are still on Zoom too, or they were back then, so you could jump into all these different regions.
Absolutely. Yeah. But think about like quality of leads. So if you look at my 7 ways to win, activity plan, contact rate, quality of lead source, number of leads needed per year at the average conversion rate to get the total number of deals. Like if this year, Spencer, how many clients do you want to get? New clients, new business this year. Next 12 months from today. 35? 60? Let's say 60 new clients. Well, if you had 7 ways to win, or at least 7 ways to win, and you were able to get 25 clients from Facebook ads, which is your scalable marketing where you can push the gas, you control your effort and your attitude and your activities over here, and you go and pick your spray foam events, you're getting in front of industry suppliers, you're going in front of maybe like a specialty insurance agency or something that only, or a bookkeeping service or a bookkeeping company that only works with home service niches, right? And one more thing, and your whole goal is I want to make 5 clients close from each one. Well, I know what to do now. I'm going to go and attend the events. I'm going to create deep relationships. I'm going to follow up at least 15 people over the next 90 days every quarter as I go to the events. I'm going to show them my ideal client win scenario. I'm going to see what I can do to add value to their life. And I'm going to create deep friendships with people who have influence over my ideal customers. All of a sudden, you got 25 from Facebook, 5, 10, 15, 20. Now we're at 45. And then from there, you've got 3 other sources that help. All of a sudden, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. If you want to grow, you have to have sustainable growth, redundant customer acquisition strategies where a little market shift won't take you out. Right? So Mark, go back to mortgages for a second. You had your teaching and your people that would come to you from your teaching. You also had pop buys where you were probably stopping in. You were sponsoring luncheons at CE classes or at internal trainings at the different real estate offices. You also had somebody else who was doing outreach from your list. You also had your sphere of influence and the networking events you attended, and you also had a BNI. All of a sudden, you've got 7 different ways to acquire customers. It's very powerful to do that, but half of them should be focused on only the highest quality leads. And you know what? Think about this. You guys are literally preaching this. The whole idea of SEO is what? I can get you tons of leads. They're all not going to be shit though, but I'm going to get you the highest intent leads first. We always exhaust the highest intent leads first, SEO and PPC. Obviously, we can't scale that. There's nothing we can do to increase the search volume around what you offer in our area, but at least we can siphon as many of those high quality leads as humanly possible. It's the same thing for your business. Why would you not go after the highest quality leads possible? And you can do as much of this as you want. And as you get bigger, right, you have business development people on your team and salespeople that can go out and do this for you. Yeah, cool. So that's referrals. That's all I got.
Nice.